Thank you, Senator.
Senator Moreno.
Secretary Noem, thank you for being here. Thank you for your work. I just want to reiterate for the record, 93% drop in border encounters. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
And are you aware that during the Biden-Harris administration, we had 4,000 aliens that died along the journey to come to America?
I wasn't aware of that specific number, but it doesn't surprise me.
Because basically we had
It's a dangerous trip.
It's a dangerous trip.
Yep.
The Darien Gap, which is right near where I was born in Colombia, went from being a supposedly uncrossable border to hundreds of thousands of people making that journey. Who benefited from our open borders policy under Biden?
Oh, I would say Joe Biden certainly did.
And the drug cartels
Yes.
that made tens of billions
criminals.
of dollars?
Yep.
And who was the victim? Certainly American citizens.
American citizens, but those who chose to come to our country at that time, believing that they could come without any consequences.
And obviously the drug cartels are drug cartels that became human traffickers at scale and used that human trafficking as a disguise to allow illegal fentanyl to come into our country. And what's been the ramifications of that? What have you seen firsthand when you go to the border? What do the agents tell you about the fentanyl that's coming across the border?
Well, it's devastating. Luckily, we have the ability now to enforce our laws with this president, and fentanyl traffic has been down 54% since he's been in office because of that. But unfortunately, what's happening is these cartels, foreign terrorist organizations, are now moving to our maritime borders. They're moving and getting much more sophisticated, and so we need to adapt and have the resources to be able to interdict them before they come in and kill off our next generation of Americans.
Yeah, so it's not hyperbole to say that tens of thousands of Americans have not been killed with fentanyl because of that drop.
Correct, absolutely.
And it's just important to just reflect, not for political reasons, but just for moral reasons, to say that what happened over the last 4 years is just despicable. We should never have allowed that to happen. There was no outcry about the situation, and yet it was allowed to happen. Now, it's a lot easier to enter America than it is to be deported for America. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Well, that is true. When you have a president in the White House that is openly saying our laws won't be enforced and facilitating this invasion that happened over our southern border, we had millions of people come. And not just people looking for new opportunities in the American dream. You had people coming that were criminals, murderers, rapists, traffickers, terrorists. And now to remove them is much more complicated, difficult, and expensive. For us to deport someone, that we have to go out and find that individual, arrest and detain them and remove them from the country, it costs upwards to $17,000 if there isn't, more delays than the normal process. That's why we're encouraging people to self-deport. If you are here illegally, we recognize that you may have been here for a period of time, but if you want to leave and have the chance to come back someday, leave on your own. We will facilitate that. We'll buy you a plane ticket. When you land, we will give you $1,000 that you can get started with and provide for your family. That cost of self-deportation is $4,500. So much, much more cheaper for the American taxpayer in how we make sure that we really are following our laws and that the people here in this country, the American citizens, are treated with the respect that they're due by coming here through the legal process and being a part of our future.
Yeah, and I think it's just important, and I hope my colleagues, especially on the other side of the aisle, I look at Senator Gallego, whose family came here from another country, his mom from Colombia, his dad from Mexico, that we honor and respect those of us like myself, my 5 brothers, my sister, my mom and dad, that followed the legal process, which, by the way, is hard. It's a privilege to come to America. It's not easy. You have to go through a process. But over the last 4 years, what we did is we made it so that if you hired a drug cartel, brought you to the border, and then raised your hand when you got to the Border Patrol and said asylum or asilo, that got you a free ticket into the country, free housing, free health care, free education, to the detriment of Americans. And I think that should be something we unite about. And Senator Fetterman talked about asylum seekers. Those are not asylum seekers. They're people who want a better life. They're economic migrants. We empathize for them, but we have to have a process that we honor the people who are following the rules. So, for example, the Afghanis that he's talking about, well, they have to wait in line behind millions of fake asylum claims. And I think we have to once and for all acknowledge that that's not the case. I was proud to introduce something called the Rules Act. Unfortunately, the Democrats blocked that very common sense bill, which would have said, hey, if you come across our border illegally and claim asylum, you can't claim asylum at an undesignated port of entry. You're immediately returned. That's something that's common sense. I want to ask you a few other just technical questions.
We're going to do another round in just a few minutes.
Okay, do you mind if I just ask one quick question?
One quick question.
Okay. I want to just encourage you to continue to do what you're doing, which is to enforce the law, which is that the agencies within DHS purchase products in the United States of America. So I applaud you for doing that.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that.
Senator Gallego.